Okay, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the SpeedRacinJason Podcast, episode 19. I'm excited to have y'all here, and I think you're here because you're like, wait, what do you mean? Let's just maybe restart all of that. All right, everyone, welcome back to the SpeedRacinJason Podcast. This is episode 19. I am filming this on April 29th, 2020, and you guys are probably reading that title being like, wait, you really had a drift event right now? Or maybe you've already watched the drift event video. However that works. You're here. I'm excited you're here. This past weekend, PARC Pat's Acres. You already know what it is. I don't need to go into any depths, do I? You guys know what it is. You've been to Pat's Acres or you've seen some of the old videos. Sorry, the computer went black there, so I panicked for a brief second. But Pat's Acres held a drift event on April 26th during this quarantine, and it's just like, you guys need to go over to their Instagram or something. Tell them that's fucking awesome that they did that, show your appreciation to them if you like the drift video, because that could not have happened without them. And sorry, had a little bit of a burp from that Diet Pepsi, but I don't know. I guess I don't even know where to start with expressing my thoughts towards Pat's Acres right now, because I'm just so excited that we had a drift event. I mean, I was talking to a lot of people out there, and other than my shitty corona jokes that I was like making to people, I didn't think about the virus the whole time I was out there. I didn't think about the whole thing. I was just like, this is a normal drift day, man. We're back out here. We're back in action, or at least that's how it felt to me, even though there was no spectators, so there was a lot less people. And I was out in the field. I'm social distancing. I don't see why there can't be drift events. I mean, and I think this was just like a trial run, and I think they got away with it, and it's just going to keep working out, hopefully, and hopefully we're back in business, man, because I like bringing these podcasts to you, but it's like all I've been doing lately is doing podcasts and recycling old drift footage, and like, there's no drift stuff. There's no drift content right now during the quarantine, and Pat's Acres was like, no, we're done. We're done with this. We're having a drift event. It's happening. So they did it. I mean, they had the moto people back there riding too, I think. I know for a fact they were out there, but I don't know how all of that was working. I didn't walk back there or anything. But I saw all of them riding. So Pat's Acres is like back in action. I mean, I know Jed, he works there, and I'm friends with him on Snapchat, and he's been posting on his story of him back at work and everything like that. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see that this is maybe slowly starting to lift. Maybe it's not. Maybe I have too high of hopes right now. I don't know, man. They had that house party in Chicago. I'm sure y'all saw it, So if they can have a house party and have everyone stacked in like a fucking can of sardines, you know what I mean? And then we can have a drift event, because I was 6 feet apart, Everyone that tried to high-five me, I'm like, nah, not today, bro. Give me an elbow, dude. It's social distancing. Quarantine drift event, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm bringing this podcast to you guys, and I'm excited to be doing it. I just finished up I just finished up the Pat's Acres drift video, so there's going to be a little bit of this kind of incorporated in there. Like I said, hopefully you guys have watched that. If you haven't, go check it out. I think, another thing that I talked about that I was thinking a lot about is, and I talked with a few people about it out at Pat's Acres, I guess before all of this happened, I guess I was starting to maybe feel a little burnt out on Pat's Acres. I'm like, it's nice, it's a good track, and I like going out there, but I've been going out there for a long time, and then, all of this quarantine happened, so it was definitely one of those like experiences of once they take it away from you, you really want it more than anything, and I'm just so thankful for them doing that. So I don't know, do something for them, whatever it is, do that. Say thanks to them. I'm giving them a thanks right now. If I'm not doing a good enough job, I appreciate them. That's your fucking 5 minutes that I just dedicated to you. Because, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about it other than it was just rad. And I was so excited that it's happened. I'm a little bit low energy today. I'm kind of tired. I've been working. Finally got a job at Joann's, and I'm going to complain about it, even though at the end I'm going to say that I shouldn't complain about it because I got a job, and that's how I feel right now. I'm very thankful to have a job, and I'm just kidding. I'm not really going to complain about it, but maybe I'll tell you guys a little bit. I've been working quite a bit, at least for myself, because the last 2 years I haven't really done anything. I just worked for myself and maybe worked like 5 hours a week, my little sticker jobs. And I was doing okay before all of this Corona stuff happened. And honestly, my vinyl jobs are starting to come back too. I just did a truck, and now I'm going to do another giant water tower, I guess. So I don't know. That just goes back to the subject of I feel like everything is starting to clear up, and I guess I'm starting to have hope that everything is slowly coming back to normal, and maybe one day the coronavirus will just be a joke. I feel like by the time it's like 2021, they'll probably have like some vaccine. They just like inject you up real quick or whatever, and then I don't know, maybe not, but I'm thinking it's slowly starting to loosen up. But yeah, so I've been working at Joann's, and I don't know, man. It's wiping me out. And we were a lot more calm the last couple of days. I think mainly because people are starting to understand the curbside pickup system that we have. It's a real advanced system. You order online and then you pick it up curbside. But the thing is like we can't have you picking it up curbside because that's like unsafe, I guess. So you got to park, but nobody wants to park, and we got security guard trying to take the name, and we have this giant line all the way out and around the building. I'm taking like 20,000 steps a day, which is like 11 miles, and let's just be real, I was doing like 2,000 steps for the last like 2 years, like in the whole year I probably did 1,000 steps, and then they're like, I've been working fucking, I don't know, it's just kind of wild that Joann's is popping the way it is, but all these people are trying to make face masks, and it's like, that's good for them, and I appreciate that they are, but because they're trying to make face masks, they think they're doing like the Lord's work and shit, so they want to yell at you and be sassy, and I don't know, man. We've had a couple incidents, is all I will say, a couple security, we had a security guard that ain't coming back, is all I'm saying, and I really liked him. He was a really cool guy. But I understand it's a high stress environment at the fucking fabric store, bro. I don't know, dude. It's just wild. Like, it's wild that Joann's Fabric has a fucking security guard right now, a line wrapped around the building every day, all day long. Like, people are sitting in chairs at like 10 a.m. We open at noon. They're just like outside of our door in lawn chairs, and it's like, man, don't you have enough masks? I have a few, I've got like 5 or 6, and my mom has a whole bunch, Everyone's donating them, and like, she works at the hospital, so she has a shit ton. It's like, everyone's good, especially on these shitty masks, so stop coming to Joann's. But like, also, thank you for coming to Joann's because you're making it busy, and they're letting me work as much as I can, right, or as much as I want to right now. So I do appreciate it, but I'm also just like, it's kind of a wild time to be starting work there, but we're getting through it, and it's also putting it's putting a little bit of like a barrier in front of me working on like my drift videos and stuff like that, and it's like a legit one instead of me just being lazy, like that's why I'm getting this stuff done today. I'm giving you a podcast, and I'm hoping you guys are still listening to it, but I might be a little bit low energy throughout it. But I'm like, if I don't finish it today, it's not going to come out till Saturday because I work on Thursday and Friday, So I want to get it out to you guys, and I want to be keeping my schedule, I'm already a day late per usual, but that's whatever. It happens. I don't know. I will say the thing that's really just making me strive on through this, is like, I'm going to get a real paycheck, boys. Dude, I haven't had a consistent paycheck every 2 weeks in so long, I get from my vinyl jobs, for the last 2 years, I've just been doing that. And it's like I'll get a big chunk of money, but I'm like, I need to save that until I have another job. And then it's like I kind of spend it all. But right now I'm doing both. You know, I'm coming home from my Joanne's job and I'm working on a truck. Like I did that the other night. That's all busted out. I busted out these other stickers, took them down to the mechanic, you know, during all of this. And that was right after work. So it's like when all of this money actually, I haven't even gotten paid yet, you know, but I'm like, when it starts coming through, I'm going to feel a lot better about fucking doing it, if you know what I mean. Because right now I'm kind of like, I don't want to go back on Thursday and Friday. But you guys all feel that too, you know. You guys are out there working your little butts off and trying to make a living for yourself. And it's like, you have things that you want to do, you know, you have your own podcast or you have your own YouTube channel, you know, and not necessarily, but you have your own hobbies in your life that you're trying to take care of, but you also got to work on top of that. So I guess I'm excited, you know, after all of that, let's wrap it up on a good note. You know, I'm excited that I'm a part of you guys. I'm a part of the exclusive adult club, if you know what I mean, bro. Took me a while to get here, fucking almost 22, but it happens, you know. I don't know, man. You get a little bit of dead air right there because I had to really just think about that. I just like kind of processed all of it. Had a couple visions of Kenny Powers, if you know what I mean. Kenny Powers is that Eastbound and Down show, and he's just like a washed up teacher at one point in time, and like, you know, that's kind of how I felt for a little bit, but we're doing so much better now, bro. We out here grinding like everyone else. I'm doing a podcast, a drip video, and fucking cutting fabric. What you know about it? I'm just kidding, bro. Either way, I'm so glad you guys are all tuned in and actually listening. If you still are, thank you. I don't know, you know, I mean, honestly, we talked about all of that. I'm kind of hoping that I get a little bit of a spike in viewership in the podcast. So I'm hoping if you guys are watching this one, you're like, man, I don't know if I like it. You know, maybe you watch another one, check them all out, you know, if you want. And maybe you're just like, I need a little bit more energy from you, Jason. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't get a good nap in today is all I'm saying. But I think I might have a little bit of a spike in viewership because this quarantine, you know, there's been no drift events at all, or at least really any drift events for the last couple of months. So everyone on the drifting Reddits is talking about like, hey, what are you guys doing since the quarantine started? And most people are like, nothing, just recycling old videos like myself. And that's what I posted, and someone commented back and they were like, yeah, you know, I feel that, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I'm hoping that maybe I get a little bit more of excitement towards this drift video. I also think it was a decent one, and maybe not, but you guys can tell me in the comments. You know, I tried to actually, and I guess that's another thing that made, or maybe was a thing I was going to talk about, is I felt like I was willing to put so much more time into editing this drift video because I haven't edited a Pat Akers video in a while, especially a brand new one, you know. And I tried out some new things when I went out there. Like I took the GoPro and I put it on a long tripod. So I like had it all the way strung out, almost got it taken out by Logan. He like almost slammed right into it, ripped it out of my hands. But I think I got some good clips in there, and I think I tossed it all together decent, you know. And I just think maybe right now people are out there searching for content, especially in the last couple of weeks of this quarantine, or the last couple of months of this quarantine, because people are going to start going back to work. You know, people are going to start getting jobs again. People are going to start wanting to do stuff again. So, you know, maybe people are going to slowly start dipping out, because for the last maybe the last month or two, people have just been like, hey, I'm on YouTube 18 hours a day because I've got nothing else to do. That's how I was before I got the job at Joanne's. I was just sitting around. I mean, I was like, man, I'm really bored. So I'm excited I did get a job and doing bigger and better things, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It's kind of funny because I'm just like kind of out of energy. And there's like that one podcast that Chris D'Elia did with Joe Rogan pretty recently, and like Brian Callen gets there and starts making fun of Chris D'Elia because they're at an hour and a half and he's already like falling asleep. And for some reason I just feel like that today, man. I mean, I'm just kind of wiped out. But I think that's just because it's been a long week, and then we had the weekend, and I worked, Saturday, and then Sunday I had off, and I went out to Pat's Acres for you guys and for myself to go get all that footage and also just have like a relaxing day. But I still got my steps in for sure out there. If you've ever been on media or if you've ever just been out to Pat's Acres in general, you get your steps in. Nothing like ORP. That track is insane. If you don't hop in a gator or like a support vehicle, bro, you might have a fucking stroke before you make it to some of those corners out there, because that track is long and hills, and that's wild. But yeah, Pat's Acres, you still get your steps in for sure. I don't know. I saw a lot of people out there at Pat's Acres that I haven't seen in a long time, which was really exciting because of all of this quarantine. There hasn't been any drift events, so I've been missing a lot of my like Pat's Acres friends. You know what I mean? When you start going out to a place like that, or drift events in general, or car meets, you start meeting friends and stuff, and then you don't see them for a little while during the quarantine, and you finally all get back together, and I just want to kiss them, but I'm like, dude, you can't get near me, Not really. But I will also say, I'm pretty sure nobody was wearing a mask out at Pat's Acres. There was like a few people, but most people had like the mentality of like, oh, I'm not a pussy, I ain't wearing a mask. I bet you all those people that were there wear a mask when they go into the grocery store. And I don't know if that's because they didn't come into contact with people as much out at Pat's Acres, but it's still something to bring up, Or maybe not. Maybe it's not something to bring up, but I felt like it was, so I did. What else, man? I really want to start moving stuff around out here in the office. If you guys have been a long-time subscriber of the channel, every like 2 months I have to rearrange my whole office. Otherwise I like go insane. But I've kind of been thinking about this one for a while, and I think it might be pretty cool. So there might be a couple podcast episodes where everything's kind of still being put together, where it's a little awkward, but I'm going to try my best to keep bringing them to you, especially on Tuesdays. That's kind of my day to upload. But today it's Wednesday, so I don't really know. Like I said, I'm a day late. It happens. I was working on this drift video last night, and I was maybe going to try it. I pretty much finished it last night, but I wanted to just like sleep on it, wake up, keep editing it, and then talk about like all of it on the podcast once I was done with the drift video. I don't know. It just didn't seem like good flow, and I just wanted to make sure I was putting my best work into it instead of just like racing to get it out, because it could wait for another day. I am kind of racing a little bit because, like I said, I don't want to wait till Saturday. I want all of this stuff to be coming out to you guys quick as possible, but also the best quality I can do possible. And that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to, is I think that has to be one of my first purchases from a Joann's check, is a gimbal for my camera. I've gotten better at fucking the shaky footage, but it still happens every once in a while, especially when a car comes flying by you. So I really want to get a gimbal. I've been looking at the Weebill S. If anyone has any knowledge on that or anything like that, start a conversation with me in the comments. And I would like to know your opinions on it, because I don't really want to just drop $400 and then be like, man, I should have dropped $300 and bought this or something like that, So comment down below if you know anything about it. But I would like to start upgrading all of the equipment that I have, and I will be able to, all because I got the job opportunity of my life at fucking Joann's Fabric over there, bro. So it is what it is. Thank you guys for listening. I have one more little thing I was maybe going to talk about, which was I posted on my Instagram the other night. Ask me questions and I'll talk about them on the podcast. So that's a thing I'm doing. So make sure you're kind of like watching over there. If you want to ask me any questions, you can do that. Or of course you can leave them in the comments. Ask me questions though, because I like talking about it. And A1_Smith. Let me fucking check that out real fast. That's not a Corona cough, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry. That might be some gross microphone sounds, but it fucking happens. A1_ANTH, which is fucking Anthony Hamilton. I'm 99% sure, but I guess I should kind of check. How the fuck do I check that? You guys know better than I do. I don't know. Either way, he asked me, it totally is. I just wanted to make sure before I was like, that's the wrong guy. But he asked me on the Instagram, and you guys can do the same. Or like I said, leave them in the comments. He said, if I could buy one wheel size for the rest of my life, what would it be? And I don't know, I would probably, if you want the serious answer, I'll just give you the serious answer. The serious answer is 18s, because 18s have like, I feel like, probably the widest variety of, but that's not necessarily true. You know, there actually is a lot of like, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of really cool like 15-inch wheels, you know, if you're into like old school JDM shit. But I think like, okay, so he asked if, I guess I have to kind of think about this a little bit more, but he asked what size of wheel would I have if I can only have one for the rest of my life. So I'm always trying to find the little loophole, you know, or something like that. So do I have the same car too? Because if I'm going to keep the 240, it's going to be 18s. That's the only thing I'm going to buy, because I feel like that's the perfect size for that car. And there is a lot of variety in like really cool wheels. You know, I feel like that's kind of the size that, and I feel like that just fits most cars really well, especially the cars that I would probably be looking at. I have been on OfferUp though, and this is where the joke answer comes in. And I've really been looking at fucking old Cadillacs, dude. Let me get one with some 22s, man, dude. I would love to have some 22s just for the fucking flex, man. I used to have this BMW, and it was pretty ridiculous. It was a 323i. It was gross looking, but it was just like funny, you know, because like it looked like I don't know. It looked like something though, and then I would get out of that car, and it would have 20-inch chip foose wheels on it. I'd pull up, and it had a black racing stripe all the way on the hood, up through the roof, through the trunk. Fucking had carbon fiber little like A-pillars, they like, or B, whatever the fuck, they like just put vinyl wrap on it, and it was kind of ridiculous, but it was so funny, man. So like I also want to say 22s, because I want to get like just a little bit bigger than I used to have, and I want to be rolling on some fucking blades, bro, is what I'm saying. I think that's the way I'm probably going to end up this podcast. It is 25 minutes deep right now. You guys were probably done listening at like 2.5 minutes, because you were like, dude, you seem like you're about to fall asleep. So thank you if you stayed all the way through. And if you did, I appreciate you. If you didn't, I still appreciate you. Please go check out the other videos on the channel. I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.